All right, Chris and I just landed in Charlotte. We're gonna be here for about 30 minutes.
I'm more awake now.
So we're gonna get something to eat and then hop on the plane to Tennessee, and we'll see you there.
Still working.
As you can see, we have made it to Chattanooga. The dealer was actually kind enough to send someone to pick us up. So they're gonna be picking us up and taking us back to look at the car. All right, so Christine drove us back here to BMW of Chattanooga. As you can see behind me here, we'll give you a little tour of the place in a minute. And as soon as we got here, they had the car ready. We jumped in it and we went for a test drive. And what'd you think of the car?
Amazing.
There you have it. Chris said it was amazing. Should we buy it?
Done deal.
As you may have seen in the title, this is a one-off individual Ferrari red BMW F80 M3. It is a 2016. It has 49,000 some miles. The car is immaculate. Wait, hold on, stop the video. Let's talk for a second. You guys are probably thinking, you live in New Jersey. Why would you travel all the way down to Tennessee? How did you even find the car? Well, that brings us to today's sponsor, Autotempest.com. Now, if you're in the market for a used car, be sure to check out Autotempest.com because it is by far the best way to search. Why so? Well, instead of going from site to site to site, it compiles all of the most popular used car searches into one search. All right, so here is how easy it is to use. For our search, we're looking for a 2015 to 2018 BMW M3. And I'm not terribly concerned with location, but at the same time, I don't want to fly to California and drive back because that's just a little bit too far. So as I was scrolling through, this Ferrari red F80 completely jumped off the page at me. The price was good and it wasn't crazy far away, so I had to have it. So what about you? What's your next car? Be sure to see the link in the description to Autotempest.com and post a link with your next car down in the comments below. Now, let's get back to the video. Some shots of Chris's new whip here. Look at that, certified and everything. Boom. All right, so after a couple hours of driving back, we needed something to eat, so we stopped at Cracker Barrel, and now it's this guy's turn. He's gonna rip it in the M3. What do you think? You think it was worth the trip?
You see the smile on my face?
Yeah, it was funny. I was talking to Chris at like 8 o'clock last night-ish, and it was kind of like, hey, I'm going to Tennessee, and he's like, hey, I'll come. And I was like, yes, I would love that. We bought plane tickets, and we woke up at 1:45 a.m., and we were at the airport by 3-ish. Flew to Charlotte, flew to Chattanooga, Tennessee. We got the car, and so far, we've been driving the car for about 2-3 hours, and the car is phenomenal. It is a 2016 individual Ferrari red F80. Now, at first, I saw the red, and I was like, not sure if I like the red or not. But something that I really liked about it was that it's a BMW individual color. So it's not something that you see. And even at the dealership, they said that they have never seen another one. So I got the sticker of the car. The car was originally $81,000, and it said just for the Ferrari red paint, it was $5,000. So I hope I never have to touch it up or replace a bumper or anything like that, because it just sounds like it's very expensive. But the car outside is completely immaculate. It has some carbon fiber and a splitter up front. It has the carbon roof. It has the carbon interior, and we'll show you all of this in some B-roll. All four wheels are perfect. There's no curb rash at all. The tires were great. The brake pads are brand new. It had a fresh oil change. Everything inside is super clean. It also, I don't really know how I feel about this yet, but it has the driver's assist package, so it has lane departure warning, so if you start to drift outside of the lane, the wheel vibrates. It has the heated steering wheel. It has collision detection, so it slows you down if somebody in front of you jams on the brakes. It also has blind spot warnings. It has rear cameras. It has the side cameras, so if you're pulling out of maybe a tight alley or so, you can actually see who's to the left and to the right of you. It has PDC. The car is pretty well loaded, and I think we really got a great price on it. Something else about this car is that it does not have a sunroof. It has the carbon fiber roof, which I love, and I actually was going to put in my F30, but the roof itself was like $2,000, and I was like, I just didn't think it would be worth it. And honestly, I really like having a sunroof, but after not having one, I realized it's only been like 3 hours or so, maybe 2.5. I feel like you get more headroom this way, and I actually don't mind the way it looks. I think it looks really nice, and I just love the fact that it has a carbon roof, so super excited about that. One thing that it does have that I don't really care for, this is probably just getting picky, is it has the M3 trunk lip on it, which when you look at it, it just looks really wimpy. So I'm just gonna put a different trunk lip on it. So we're gonna make videos of all of this. Also, we have a ton of parts for this. We haven't really said anything, but we have a lot of parts for this car because we've been anticipating it a little bit. So another thing, which I've been meaning to do to my F30, I just haven't had a chance, but it has tinted windows, which is kind of funny because I haven't had tinted windows in a really, really long time. So as you can imagine, we were grabbing supplies that we would need yesterday. So I got the camera, I got some of this other silly stuff, and we also grabbed the computer and grabbed the Ethernet cable, and we have our activation code for boot mode. And we were gonna flash it in the parking lot and then drive it back, but my concern was that the charge pipes, they could blow, especially if we're driving 12 hours, and I don't want to get like an hour into it and then have the charge pipes blow and then have to ride back in limp mode. It just sounded like a huge pain in the butt. And thought about bringing some charge pipes on the plane. Didn't think it'll look good if we brought random pipes on a one-way plane to Tennessee. What are you guys doing? Oh, nothing. So this car will effectively be stock for the first like 16 hours of its life. We'll see if anything happens when we get home today. The mods might start tomorrow if we wait that long, but I can promise you that things are going to happen within 24 hours. So now, before we get too carried away with this car, the F30 is not going anywhere, and I don't know how many we have, but we have I'll say 30 videos still we have planned for the F30, and that's just specifically with the F30. We have actually more than that. Some of them are like more general car videos, but we have some really cool ones coming up that you guys are really going to enjoy. We've actually been asked a lot to do some of these videos, and really it's just been a challenge of finding time. But since Chris has joined us and he's been helping us a lot, I know many of you have probably talked to him. It's been able to free me up a little bit more to do videos, so hopefully we can get in a better rhythm where we can pump out even more videos. Right now we have, I think, like 10 edited videos that we're waiting to release, just so that we can get caught up a little bit on the filming. But it's going to be fantastic, and I can't wait because you guys are going to love what we have in store for you. So continuing our tour around, as you can see, we have snacks on a long drive. One thing that I really like about this, it doesn't have the leather door cards, which I do really like those, and I really like the leather dash, but it does have this piece of leather right here on the door. I think this is amazing, and it looks really cool. One thing that I will be replacing is it has the factory door handles in the back. Now, these aren't too sticky yet, but I don't want them to get gross. So what we're going to do is we're probably going to proactively change these out. Again, it doesn't really have the problem on this side. On the driver's side, it's a little bit worse, but since we have them, I'd rather get them swapped out before they get sticky. Also, I think this is cool, but kind of weird at the same time. But this little piece is leather, but like nothing else over here is. It's like this little piece, and then the handles. So I'm not really sure why they just put a little piece there, but I like
knee
it.
rest.
Oh yeah, it's a knee rest. You know, one thing that was kind of like going backwards for me is we're going to an NBT where my F30 right now has an NBT Evo. So it's kind of interesting to go back in time with a newer car, because my car is a 2013 with an NBT Evo retrofit, and this one has an NBT. But who knows? Maybe we'll swap this out with an NBT Evo as well. Okay, so at this point, Chris and I have been driving for, what, 7 hours? We have about 5.5 hours left. So we wanted to wait a little bit. Well, I wanted to wait to give my initial driving impression, because I've had so much time behind the wheel with an F30. I didn't want to drive it for 10 minutes and give my official review. But now that we've driven the car for hours, let me tell you my initial thoughts. So first off, I love the suspension in this car. It's very stiff. There's a couple different modes. You can have it in Sport Plus, you can have it in regular Sport, or you can have it in Comfort. I don't think it's really super drastic, even though we're driving pretty far. Sport Plus even is pretty comfortable. It's not a very harsh ride, which is really nice. Next thing I noticed was back on the suspension. I think F30 suspension from the factory is terrible. All of it. I haven't been in an F30 from the factory that was like, wow, this is amazing. This is excellent from the factory. Now, it is an M car, so you would kind of expect that, but something that I wanted to point out. Next, the steering. You can, again, put it in Comfort, Sport, or Sport Plus. Had this in Sport Plus for the most part. I feel like this is significantly tighter than the F30. Again, I don't have too much of a problem with the F30 steering, but this is just noticeably tighter, and I really like the feel of it. And then also the throttle is very responsive, extremely responsive, especially a completely stock car. The power delivery, I think, is pretty good. It's a very quick car. You know, we'll do a separate video on F30 versus F80. But overall, it feels like a much tighter car that's more ready for the track, where the F30 is more, we'll say it's more comfortable. Not that this isn't a comfortable car. I think the seats in here are extremely comfortable. The leather is really nice. They feel well padded. And even though we've been driving for 6 or 7 hours, one thing that I've noticed is if I drive too long in my F30, my back starts to kill me. And even though we've been at this for, like I said, 6 or 7 hours, my back feels pretty good right now, which I'm shocked about. And I was quite nervous about driving 12 hours in this car, because I didn't know if it was going to be too rough and too firm to where it was just going to get super uncomfortable super quick. But it's been good, and you feel pretty good still, right?
Feels great.
And Chris and I are going on like 2 hours of sleep, and we're not going to get home until probably tomorrow morning. But that's besides the point. But overall, I really like it. This lane departure thing is driving me nuts, because every time, even if you want to just switch lanes, the steering wheel starts vibrating. So that's probably going to get permanently disabled in a video, because it just drives me nuts. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Another thing, and I'm not sure when these videos are getting posted, but it has the F80 paddle shifters. I really like the F80 style paddle shifters.
over the F30. I think it's just a sleeker design. The F30, I will say, in your hand feels a little bit more comfortable. On my car, I put the extensions in, and they are by far best. So I am definitely going to be upgrading these. They get the job done, don't get me wrong. That lane thing drives me nuts. Anyway, but yeah, the paddle shifters, they do a great job. They do what they're supposed to do. One of the biggest differences of this car and my car is this car has the DCT. And my car shifts pretty fast. This car is definitely a whole nother level, especially with Drive Logic, how you can pick how fast you want it to shift. And again, there's no transmission flash on this car. It's how it comes from the factory. And as you can imagine, we're going to change that too. But the way that this car shifts and the speed and all, phenomenal. The way that this car drives and handles, if you haven't driven in an F80 or an F82, I would recommend going to a dealer just to get a feel for it if it is something that you would be considering. Now, again, we're going to make a separate video, but a lot of things come down to cost. And is it worth the extra money? Especially like right now, my F30 is probably faster than this car. I feel pretty confident that if we put these two cars in a race, now again, this is completely stock, and my F30 is pretty heavily modified. Dollar for dollar, what do you get out of it? I think the F30 is still a fantastic value for what you get out of it. The F80 definitely has the opportunity to take you up another level. However, you have to keep in mind that if you have an F80 or an F82 or even F87, you have to keep in mind the cost of everything is much higher. For example, exhaust. If you got an exhaust for an F30, it could be, and this is just a rough ballpark, it could be like $1,700 or $2,000. With this car, it could be double that. So you just have to keep that in mind, that if you do go up to the F80 and you don't have sponsors and whatnot, it could cost you a lot more money. Some people don't care, some people care, but I'm just saying that to make sure that if you're on a tight budget, don't go to the F80. Go with the F30. You can still have a fast car. My F30 right now runs high 11s, and we're about to take that south and get some better times. And again, it's a lot less expensive than one of these. Now this is used, and it's about half the price that it originally started at. But even still, you could get an F30 335 for, I don't know, like $20,000. So to get a pretty quick car for $20,000, it's hard to justify the extra $20,000 to get one of these cars. Now, one other thing to note, we did look up the VIN in this car and we did check it, and it is not NVT in this car. We do have NVT Evo ID4, so it's not compatible with CarPlay, but we may bump it up to an ID5 unit. The cool thing about if you have ID4, all you do is you literally just switch out the head unit to an ID5 unit. There's some coding involved, and then you can get things like CarPlay. And the coolest thing is the information for connected drive is not stored on the head unit. So it's one of the few opportunities where you can upgrade to NVT Evo and you can still have connected drive and all of those other features. Now on my F30, I wasn't really worried about it because I didn't have it. On this car, I still have it for another year or so, and I haven't had it, so I kind of want to play around with it. So that's something really cool, that if we do want to upgrade, we are able to keep a lot of those features that you normally lose if you're going from like a CIC to NVT Evo.
Okay, so after 14 hours of total travel time, we just stopped a couple times. We got the M3 back to the shop, and we can't wait to start modding this car.
Get ready for that first mod, Chris. Go ahead. Okay, black start-stop button off, and as you can imagine, we're gonna take the new red one and just pop it in. And there you have it, our first mod.
All right, so now that we are back, we have a ton of work to do. We have a ton of mods planned for this, and we actually have a lot of them in-house and ready to go. But as we said before, we're not gonna abandon the F30. We also have a ton of things in store for that. So be sure to stay tuned. Once again, this is Chris and Brian. Thanks for watching Keys Motorsports. If you like our videos, give us a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe and check us out at keysmotorsports.com for all of your BMW retrofit, performance, and aesthetic needs. Once again, this is Brian and Chris. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.